voting turnout. To me, that smacks of, pardon my, with all due respect, smacks of an excuse. This is, as Rebecca mentioned, whether you vote or not, you're taxpayers. Whether you rent or own property, you are taxpayers. You are paying taxes the same way everybody else in this ward is. And I, for one, will never accept that answer from City Hall. If somebody comes and tells me, oh, we can't go over there and fix that pothole, Cedar Hill, they don't vote. They're not. I will never accept that answer.
I want to make a statement and then I have a question. I'm frustrated too, and I'm extremely frustrated. I pay taxes just like people in East Rocks, you know, all over the city of New Haven, and they're extremely high. I have children that I'm trying to send to school, and it's just like the conditions of our neighborhood is deplorable. You can go to the other end of State Street and you can go around the corner and you have awnings, you have a sidewalk, you have different programs that will accommodate the children. Why don't we have that? Why don't we have anything? We have so many vacant buildings on the street. Why don't we have anything for our children? The majority of our neighborhood is children. You know, the majority of the kids from Cedar Hill to View is children. So what are you doing to accommodate our children? Because you know if they don't get in trouble, if they don't have anything to do, then they get in trouble, and then the next step is juvenile and all that kind of stuff. But if you go to the other side of town, you got all these different programs, you got after-school programs, you have this, that, and the other. But over here in Cedar Hill, we don't have that, and I find that to be not fair to our children.
I will give Ed a chance to respond.
I agree with you totally. It is totally unfair. And the reason that I have spent as much time as I have in Cedar Hill over the last 7 years is because I believe it's unfair. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. There's no the population and the votes. If we're talking about voting, the votes are on the other side. You just don't have enough people here. But I believe that people here have the same rights as everybody else.
No interruptions.
Ed, you just opened your mouth and inserted your foot when you said that.
No interruptions. No interruptions. This is how we're going to do this. You ask the question, they respond. If it's not to your liking, don't respond back. We're not going to do the no. We're not going to do this. Go ahead, you can respond.
My point of view is that this is real life. This is not some fantasy world. The reality is that politically active people get what they need and want. And people who sit on their butts and don't do anything don't get it. And so it is vital. The best thing that ever happened in this neighborhood was the Cedar Hill Block Watch. This is an active group of people who have ideas of what they want. They ask for it, and they often get it. They don't get everything. Some problems are real hard. This is a poor city. Not every problem is going to get solved. But the way neighborhoods get things is by organizing, making their position clear. I am not a miracle worker. He will not be a miracle worker. We don't have that ability. I am one of 30 aldermen. He will be one of 30 aldermen. We are not people who can solve the problems of this neighborhood. We can work with you to work on those problems, and we should. And I am sure I have tried, and if Alan is elected, I'm sure he will try. But it's got to be the people of the neighborhood who make the difference. There's no other way to do it.
We'll give Alan a chance to respond.
Well, the question had to do with children and programs, and I would just add that to the list of things that need to be done in this community. And I would say the same thing as I said before, that we need to get these things done, and we need to do it as a group, and we need to go down to City Hall to do it if they won't do it any other way. I don't see Ed as leading a group of Cedar Hill folks down to City Hall. And if he does do that, I will applaud him, I'll be there with him. But I don't see him as being having that kind of activism.
The gentleman in the back there.
How you doing? I don't know much about either of y'all that's running for alderman. I live on Main Street. Every day I walk outside my house, I can find 10 things wrong with that neighborhood. One kid got shot, just not even 2 houses from my house, in broad daylight. I didn't see one alderman come, not one. We have a shrine on our street, rest in peace. I don't see nobody coming, going house to house, trying to make a difference on what we can do. At 11 o'clock at night, I put my 2-year-old son to sleep. We got cars that's blasting at volume 130. You know, we need to do something about the drugs. And I know once one house shut down, another house opens up. But we need to, you know, walk the streets, find something. You know, I got kids that play outside. My neighbor, you're my neighbor. You know, we talk about this all the time, you know, what we can do in the community, but yet still, from an alderman's point of view, I don't ever see one. And, you know, I met you yesterday, and my son said, hey, there's an alderman outside. I've been running.
Somebody cares.
I've been in this neighborhood maybe 3 years or so, 2 years, I don't count. But, like I said, every day I walk outside, I see 10 things wrong. Just last week I went outside, somebody tried to break in my van, right in front of my house. You know, if the police can't come out and do nothing about it, if you're our voice, then we need to come to you. But if you don't make your presence known in the neighborhood, how do we know where to find you, you know?
We'll let Aaron, and then I'll be very brief. If and even if I'm not elected, you will see me in the ward much more than I think you've seen Ed.
I have a question. I have been the alderman for 7 years. I have come to most of the meetings of the block last year. I have worked on various things for this neighborhood. Where have you been? Why have I never seen you before, ever, until you started to do this? What reason should people have to believe that starting now, you're going to do all this stuff, when as a citizen, it was available to you before now?
Fair question. It's not entirely true. I have been to a number of block watch meetings. I talk to people over here quite a bit, consult. I also go door-to-door canvassing. I've talked with virtually every Cedar Hill person that I recognize in this ward. I have talked to, person to person. There may be some I haven't. Many others as well. So it's not fair to say, where am I? I have been here. I've also been involved with Ted working in other organizations as well. So I have a real connection here with Cedar Hill. I feel that I have some very close friends in Cedar Hill. And I think, okay.
Me too. Again, no, I'm your friend.
This young lady right here has a question.
Well, I don't think there's an answer to this question, but I think there's a tremendous inequity between wealthy neighborhoods and ones that aren't. And it's a justice question. And it's wrong. I mean, everybody deserves protection.
Yes, of course.
And I don't think it's just people sitting on their asses. Excuse my English. I think it's the playing ground is uneven to begin with.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. So
The question
I
is,
took offense when you.
well, how do you change it? I mean, I think the Cedar Hill Block Watch is doing great work, but we need a whole lot more people. Because how do you change this injustice? The injustice, I mean, look at the civil rights movement. He was in the civil rights movement when he was in college. I went to college in the South. I worked in the civil rights movement. But it wasn't me who made the difference. It was the hundreds of people who showed up, who demanded justice. And we have to do the same thing. You can't, the one thing that I feel very strongly, that whoever is elected